Hello, my name is Gil Perez, financial planner with Bob Booth's office, and today we'll be going over the financial plan presentation for Elvis and Adele Singer. So, a little background on the family: Elvis Singer and Adele Singer, husband and wife, both 47 years old. They have three children: Bing Singer at 16, Celine 13, and Shania 11. Adele and Elvis have raised their desired goals listed in the order of preference, right? So the first one is save for all three children's college education. Second one is eliminate mortgage debt by retirement. Third one is save for retirement at age 62 with 70% pre-retirement income. With a life expectancy of 91 years old. And then we're going to establish the appropriate risk management plan. Case assumptions. The life expectancy of both Elvis and Adele is age 91. They both have a moderate risk tolerance with a required rate of return equal to 8.5%. Elvis and Adele have expressed interest in refinancing their mortgage to allow for cash flow adjustments. Their monthly Social Security benefits at full retirement age are $25,000 each. Elvis and Adele expect to retire at age 62, which will have consequences because that is prior to the full retirement age. Their current net worth is just short of $550,000. Their total assets in 2016 were $785,000 roughly, and then the investment assets they had were just over $228,000. The education information that we've been provided is that we currently have $152,000 set aside for education. The plan is for Elvis and Adele to provide for all of their children's college education expenses, 100%. Right now, we estimate college is $34,000 per year per child using today's dollars, and each child will go to college for 4 years. Reviewing the risk management in place for Elvis and Adele, we've determined that the homeowner's insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, liability insurance, and the long-term disability insurance are adequate to meet their needs. One of the biggest issues noticed with the current financial state for Elvis and Adele is that their cash flow allows for little room for future savings. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Their income statements show that they have a negative cash flow of just short of $6,000 per year. This needs to be adjusted, right? Especially if the goal is to save for retirement and education. We recommend increasing the income by Adele. It was mentioned that Adele does have the capability of going to work outside the home, and this will allow us to generate more freedom for education savings and retirement savings. In fact, I can't see, without drastically changing lifestyle, we can't see how this could actually be accomplished without the income increase. Now, the long-term goals that we've discussed: retirement at age 62, fully funding children's college, and paying off the home by retirement, are listed here again. It's important to note that the finance costs expected with the mortgage will be rolled into the mortgage as well. Now, a little more information on the education long-term goal. Being at age 16 only has 2 more years left for college. He will need to save $68,400 per year for the next 2 years to have a fully funded college fund. Right, so what we're doing is we're recommending funding this today by reallocating the education savings. Right, we already have roughly $152,000 in the savings. We actually have enough to fund Bing's completely today. Now, the remainder of that can be used to start the funding for Celine's college education because she would be next. As of now, without the initial funding, Celine would require $27,852 to fully fund in 5 years. Shania, after this, there will not be any left over in the current education fund to fund or start Shania's fund. So we'd have to save for roughly $20,000 in 52 per year to have a fully funded college fund in 7 years. Now let's talk about retirement. We currently have $88,000 saved for retirement. We're estimating that we need to save $33,860 per year at a 10.4% average return rate to get to our retirement goal. Now today we're only saving $13,000, or just short of 14. So this definitely needs to be increased if we want to be able to retire by age 62. Now, based off what we talked about, the cash flow adjustments are as follows. You can see Adele's increase in income. Now, also by refinancing the home, we free up $6,000 a year in cash in reduced debt payments. We also will be saving roughly $19,000 per year in Celine's 529 and just over $20,000 for Shania's 529. This is also including $20,000 needed for 401k savings. Now we also have a series of one-time adjustments that we need to make, and really it's more of just moving cash from one place to another. As we talked about, the $152,000 in college savings today, we need to move that into two funds, right? We can fully fund Bing's 529 with $118,000, and then partially fund Celine's 529 with the remainder of that. So you can see that we're basically moving one fund into two. So high level of the issues that we are recommending to address, right? The risk management, no action needed. Debt management, we solve that in two different ways, right? We increase the income by Adele obtaining a job, as well as decreasing debt payment by refinancing the mortgage. We're increasing in education saving and increasing retirement savings. Now, based off the information that was provided, here's the pass score. Medium risk tolerance for both Adele and Elvis. Now, to recap on the retirement savings, we're recommending an increase of the 401k from just under $14,000 a year to just under $34,000 a year, which is about $20,000, as we've previously mentioned. We're also recommending increasing the college savings. We would allocate the 118 to Bing's, fully fund the 34,000 remainder to Celine, with just under 19,000 per year in savings, and Shania at $20,000 per year in savings. Now, based off the pass score, you could see the recommended allocations. In the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the long-term horizon in the recommended breakdown of the types of funds in your investments. Now here is the recommendation list that we use that was generated, right? As mentioned, the top one here, the income change applied was an increase of $60,000 in income. Also, we have an increase in savings. We talked about Shania's 529, Celine's 529, as well as the funding of Bing's 529 as well. You can see the expenses changed with the increase of income taxes that comes with the increase of the income, as well as the decrease in payment for the primary residence through the refinance. Now you could see over the next two slides we're discussing our cash flow changes. So the cash flow changes is the increase in the college savings, the increase in the 401k savings, as well as the increase in the mortgage savings. Next two slides, we showcase the balance sheet changes. So you can see that the cash really doesn't change, nor does the invested assets. Everything is staying invested. They're just moved around to different accounts. Now looking at the income statement, you could see that we are increasing the wife's salary, so Adele's salary, so that does increase And then we're also putting a 5-year projection of the income with a 3% increase of salary. The cash outflows, we did apply inflation to taxes and the living expenses, while leaving the insurance payments and debt payments the same. Now the housing ratios, before the recommended changes, the housing ratios were pretty good. They were well below the recommended, right? So the housing ratio number 1 at 21%, housing ratio number 2 at 28%. Now after the changes, we're increasing our income and we're decreasing our debt payment. So overall, our ratios are going to go down even more. You can see at a very good 12% and 17% for our housing ratios. I'll look at a couple of the other financial ratios. Right, so we have the emergency fund ratio, well within our benchmark at almost 6 months of expenses saved up, which is very good. The current ratio, which compares the cash and cash equivalents to the current liabilities, we're just above 1.5, which falls well within the 1 to 2 recommended benchmark. Looking at our Hauser ratios too, just as we mentioned, 12% and 17% respectively for ratio 1 and ratio 2. Our debt to total assets at 27% falls well below the 50% benchmark. And our net worth to total assets well above the benchmark of 50%. Our savings rate falls in at 19%. Our savings amount at the 38.7% is also well above the benchmark. This is just because of the increased amount of savings we need to do for education. We're a little bit behind on the education savings and the retirement, so that's why the such the large savings ratio. And then you can see here our our housing ratios again. Now here's the 3-panel approach used with our financial recommendation software. You can see that we do have a recommendation to increase the life insurance, but we are believe well within what we need here. Now, final comments. To recap what the recommendations are, first and foremost, Adele does need to increase her income. That's the recommendation, the number 1 recommendation. Right, we're estimating it should be at a roughly 60%, or I'm sorry, $60,000 per year, with an annual increase of 3%, which is typical. The majority of this will be used to cover the increases in savings for education and retirement. We recommend that the education funds are moved around so that Bing will have enough money to start college here soon. We will increase the 401k contributions by roughly $20,000 per year, and we will refinance the home to a 15-year, which, as I mentioned before, coincidentally, 15 years is the time between now and retirement. So the goal to retire debt-free from your home fits well into a 15-year refinance. Now that is all that I had to present with the financial recommendations. Please let me know if you have any questions and we will be in touch. Thank you for your time.